Hey guys, my name is Joey from Project Vagrant. This is the first episode to our new video series where we're going to go over different aspects of the van build. In our first episode, this episode is going to be about insulation. So I want to keep this video short, concise, so let's go ahead and get into it. So one of the first things I want to talk about is how insulation works. So insulation basically just retains temperature. It does not manipulate the temperature, which is a common misconception. That is the job of a heater or an air conditioner. So the temperature will always eventually equalize outside and inside your van without another influencer like an air conditioner or a heater. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start talking about insulation. All the insulations I talk about in this video are well fitted for a van. They don't absorb water, they provide a decent R value, and they're the most common you'll see used. We're going to start with the lowest R value per inch insulation that I have on my list, and that is reflectix. If you've watched van build videos, I'm sure you have seen someone insulate their entire van with just reflectix. Please, please, please do not do this. I mean, you can. It's just reflectix does not provide a good R value, and you're basically just wasting money. So the R value of a sheet of reflectix is 1. It's literally just 1. Now, if you install it correctly with an air gap, an inch air gap, sealed, it's 3, and that's still pretty poor. So reflectix is a radiant barrier. So sun transmits heat through radiation, and that's what makes reflectix great for window covers to stop the greenhouse effect in your van, but as an insulator in your walls, I wouldn't use it. Let's go on to the next one. The next one I have on the list is mineral wool, which can also be called rock wool or stone wool. It has an R value of 3.7 to 4.2 per inch. It's pretty good value. I'm pretty sure you can get this stuff really cheap. You don't have to have any special tools to install it. You can just tear it apart, put it in the gaps in your van. It's probably one of the easiest installations to install because it's pretty thick, so you can kind of just pack it in and it'll hold itself up. Read great things about it. It doesn't absorb water. The next insulation is Thinsulate. This is a product by 3M that's commonly used in clothing. A lot of people use it in their van, and it's really easy to install. You just cut it. A lot of people spray adhesive it to their walls. Kind of expensive. Its R value is about 3.8 per inch, so it's not awful. If you're wanting to spend a little more money, it's a great choice. Now, the next two insulations we're going to talk about are what you'll commonly find in your hardware store, Lowe's, Home Depot, etc. And that is XPS and polyiso. So polyiso is just a foam board sheet that you'll find in any hardware store. Has an R value of 6.1 per inch. But the catch is here that polyiso's R value actually changes in a colder climate. So with that being said, there's been a lot of studies that you can find online that show below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, the R value of polyiso is actually only 4.5. So if you're going to be in a colder climate, you may want to skip polyiso and use the next insulator we're going to talk about, which is XPS board. So XPS has an R value of 5, and it does not fluctuate as much with the temperature as polyiso does. They both have really good compression strength, so they're both great to use for your floor. That's the plan for us. We're going to use XPS on our floor. And with that being said, the next insulation we'll talk about is spray foam. So spray foam is probably the best thing you could use in your van as far as R value goes. It's about the best you can get in a house as well. It's got an R value of 6.5 per inch, pretty high. So you can also spray the spray foam right. You don't have to worry about the curvature of your van. With the XPS board and the polyiso board, it's kind of hard to fit those curves, and that's what spray foam is. That's where spray foam is great. They use it in refrigerator vans, reefer vans, trucks, whatever you want to call them. Now, off of spray foam, I want to talk about canned spray foam. This is great stuff. I would not use canned spray foam to spray your entire van. For one, you're going to be buying a ton of cans, and for two, now this may have changed, but if you look at Great Stuff's product description, it used to say Great Stuff is a closed cell foam, but then it kind of, in the fine line there, it says it forms a water resistant outer coating when cured. Sorry, I had to look to read that off. So that just means that the outer coating is water resistant. So it sounds like it wasn't actually closed cell, and so what will happen is when you go to cut that layer off, you usually have to cut your spray foam down. That's actually going to expose it, and then it'll allow it to absorb water. Now, I have looked through their product descriptions again, and I cannot find this line anywhere. All it says is just that it doesn't absorb water. It doesn't say it's closed cell. So try to make sure with any van build you want to make sure it's well ventilated. And with that being said, we're going to get on our last little topic, which is something that raises a lot of controversy with a van build and in insulation, and that's the vapor barrier. So a ton of people say that you should install a vapor barrier, and a ton of people say it's one of the worst things you can do. The reason you should is because basically everything you do in your van is going to create moisture, condensation when you exhale, when you cook with propane, etc. And the vapor barrier would keep that condensation from building up on your van wall and hopefully prevent rust. But the reason people say you should not is because it's basically impossible to perfectly seal that wall with a vapor barrier. It's impossible. How are you going to screw stuff into your walls without breaking that barrier? So what could happen is you could put that barrier there, and then it's not perfectly sealed, and then if moisture got in there, it would be really, really, really hard to ventilate it out, because you wouldn't be able to get airflow through there because it's mostly sealed off, and then that would definitely lead to mold or rust. I haven't found any kind of hard research on this that proves it one way or the other. Some people have done it and not had any problems, so you do whatever you want to do and you feel comfortable with. It's a good idea to have your van well ventilated, no matter the situation. So guys, that's basically all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, learned a little bit about the most common types of insulation. There are values. I didn't cover a ton. I didn't cover every type of insulation there is. I tried to keep it short. That way you guys could just learn about your different options, essentially. If you guys think I should have changed anything in this video, you have any feedback for these videos, if you have a specific topic you want me to see me cover next, feel free to drop a comment, guys. If you got any value from this video, please hit that subscribe button. We would really appreciate it, and we will see you guys next time, all right? Bye.